I was ignoring the fact that not everyone wants to deal with Docker Compose and GitHub Actions. Many people just want a solution that works. Install an app with just one click from the UI. In today's video, I'll show you Runtipi, a home server management tool. You can install more than 200 applications with just a single click. If you are new to home lab and self-hosting and want to bootstrap your first steps, Runtipi is a great choice. I will cover two installation methods, installing it on Proxmox and on a virtual machine. Since it's safer if our home server is not exposed to the internet, we're gonna do the same here. Instead, we'll use Tailscale to connect to our home server. In this section of the video, I will create a virtual machine from Hetzner and then deploy Runtipi on that. If you want to deploy Runtipi on your Proxmox, feel free to skip to the next chapter. First step will be create a new virtual machine. Head over to your cloud provider. In my case, I will use Hetzner. Click on add a server. Choose the region you want. I will go with Helsinki. Ubuntu 24 is fine. And for the resources, I would like to visit Runtipi documentation. So head over to Runtipi, documentation, installation, and recommended requirements. So it's recommended that you have at least 8 GB of RAM and 20 GB of storage. So I will go with CX32, which has 4 cores of CPU, 8 GB of RAM, and 80 GB of storage. Everything looks fine. Create your VM. After it was created, click on it, go to firewalls, and create a new firewall. The default setting is quite good. So this is going to only allow port 22, which is SSH port. Create the firewall. Now this VM is only accessible with SSH. Now let's SSH into this machine, copy the IP, IPS, and you're in. When you create a new virtual machine, make sure to update everything. So run sudo apt update, then run sudo apt upgrade. IPS. It's going to update all the packages and dependencies that are installed on this machine. Now our virtual machine is ready. I will start by deploying Tailscale. So head over to our browser, go to your Tailscale account and click on Linux down here. Copy this line back to your terminal, paste that in. And now the only thing that we need to do is run Tailscale up. You need to visit this address, so click on that. Log into your Tailscale account one more time. After you logged into your Tailscale account, you only need to hit connect. Okay, now you can see that I have my new machine right here. Let's give it a name. I'll say Runtipi virtual machine. And now we only have to install Runtipi on this machine. So head over to Runtipi, either on the home page or on the installation page on documentation. Grab this line, go to the terminal and paste that in. Okay, and done. We should be able to access our Runtipi instance by clicking on this. But since we applied a firewall rule to eliminate any connection except for port 22, this will not work. So let's try it. As you can see, this is not going anywhere. First, make sure that you're connected to your Tailscale. Now, if I go to this IP address, I'll be presented with this screen. Our second method to install Runtipi is going to be on a Proxmox machine. So if you want to install Runtipi on a virtual machine or on a small server that you have at home, please check the previous section of this video. Now let's go to our Proxmox, go to your main node, and then grab a shell. Here we can create an LXC container for Runtipi with just one command. Go to Proxmox VE helper scripts, under Docker, find Runtipi, and copy that. And Proxmox, paste that in. Choose yes, advanced. I'll go with Ubuntu 22. I would recommend going with privileged. "32 gigabytes of disk, 4 cores of CPU, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and the rest leave it as default." Be patient, it's going to take a few seconds. Okay, Runtipi is installed. We have a new container here up and running. Click on that, go to console and log in. Now we want to enable Tailscale here. Again, grab this installation link for Tailscale from Tailscale panel and paste that here. After installing Tailscale, when you want to run Tailscale up, you will see this error. In order to fix that, go to your main Proxmox node, grab a shell from your main Proxmox node. From the Tailscale panel, search LXC. You see these two lines. Copy that, and you need to edit this file, etcpve lxc, and then the container ID. At the very end, paste those two lines in, save that, and then do pct reboot 123. Give it a few seconds, go to your Runtipi again, log in and do Tailscale up. This time it will work. Go to this URL to log into your Tailscale. After logging in, hit connect, and you should be able to close this page. And the new device will show up here. I will rename that to Runtipi Proxmox. And if I go to this IP address, I should be able to see my Runtipi panel. After installing Runtipi with either a virtual machine or a Proxmox, you will be presented with this screen. In this screen, do a simple register, click on this button, and welcome to your Runtipi instance. Before doing anything, let's go to Setting, Security, and enable two-factor authentication. After you enable two-factor authentication, then you are good to go. We don't have any apps at the moment since this is a new installation. Head over to App Store and you will be presented with a huge list of applications. Now let's go ahead and install one application. For example, I'll go with this one. Install. Then your application is ready. Click on Open, click on the IP address, and it works great. Coming back to Runtipi panel, you can see some description about the app. You can visit their source code. You can back up your applications and see the logs right here. Let's install one more app. I will install one of my favorite applications, which is Uptime Kuma. And just like the previous one, click on Open. And welcome to Uptime Kuma. You can also use Runtipi as your personal dashboard, just like Homar, Heimdall, and other personal dashboards, and add a link to other external services. For example, I can add a link to my Tailscale panel. And it will open this page. If you want to decorate it, you can provide icon and some description. Probably the biggest downside of Runtipi is you cannot easily install your custom applications. In order to install any custom applications, you need to create your own source for App Store, and then you can deploy it right here. If you really want to install a custom application, probably the easiest way is to deploy it with a Docker Compose. You can easily SSH to this machine and run your Docker Compose. And there you have it. We just installed Runtipi with 2 methods, with only one command, and then we installed different Docker applications with just a single click. If you enjoy single click tutorials, check this one as well. In that video, I'll show you how you can deploy your very own self-hosted VPN with just one line of command. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time.